My name is Jade. I'm 34 years old and work as a senior federal auditor. Most people think I'm just some regular accountant at a small local office. And honestly, that's exactly how I want it. It all started 3 years ago when I joined the Special Investigations Division. My job is to uncover big corporate fraud schemes, but for safety reasons, I keep a low profile. Not even my family knows what I really do. You're skipping family dinner again? My husband Mark asked this morning. You know I've got a ton of work, I said, sorting through my files. It's my mom's birthday, Jade. Kate's already saying you don't care about the family. Kate. Just hearing that name gives me a headache. She married Mark's older brother 5 years ago and has spent every minute since flaunting her business empire and putting everyone else down. Fine, I'll go. I gave in, but I'll be a little late. What Mark didn't know is I had a critical meeting that day. After months of digging, we'd uncovered serious financial irregularities at a major construction company, Reynolds International Construction. And guess who the CEO is? My lovely sister-in-law, Kate. Numbers don't lie, my colleague Daniel murmured as we pored over the documents. They've been dodging taxes and laundering money for years. Tomorrow we start the formal audit, I said, slipping the files into my secure briefcase. I showed up at my in-laws' mansion around 8 p.m. Kate's latest trophy was lit up like a Christmas tree. There you are, my mother-in-law, Mary, greeted me warmly. Kate's been asking about you. As I stepped into the dining room, all eyes landed on me. Kate sat at the head of the table, draped in designer clothes and gaudy jewelry, like always. Oh, look who finally decided to join us, she said with her fake smile. Busy day at your little accounting office? Something like that, I replied calmly, sitting beside Mark. You should ask Kate for a job, my father-in-law joked. Her company's booming. Kate let out a smug laugh. At Reynolds International? Sorry, we only hire real professionals, not office accountants. Under the table, Mark's hand tightened around mine. He's always hated how Kate and her husband love to show off. We just landed the contract for the new shopping center, Kate bragged. $50 million. But of course, Jade wouldn't understand numbers that big. She handles small business books. Just as I was about to reply, the doorbell rang. Are we expecting someone else? Mary asked, puzzled. That must be Finn, Kate said proudly. My new business partner. I told him to join us for dessert. The maid opened the door and footsteps approached. But it wasn't Finn who walked in. It was my boss, the Director General of Federal Audits. Kate's face went pale. She knew him well. They'd had meetings before where he hinted at auditing her company. What is he doing here? She whispered to her husband. My boss smiled, eyes locked on me. You didn't tell them, Jade. The silence was deafening. Kate jumped up, voice shaking. She's just an accountant. A simple one. She tried to keep control. The director grinned wider. Simple? She's the lead federal auditor assigned to investigate your company starting tomorrow. I calmly pulled my badge from my purse and placed it on the table. Maybe we should talk about that $50 million, sis. The sound of Kate's wine glass shattering on the floor marked the beginning of a night none of us would forget. Kate gripped the back of her chair, knuckles white. This is a joke, right? My daughter-in-law, my mother-in-law asked, looking at me like I was a stranger. I'm afraid not, Director Vernon said, taking a seat. Your daughter-in-law is one of our top investigators. She's been on this case for months. Mark looked at me, shock and pride mixing in his eyes. So, that's why you were working late. This is a conflict of interest, Kate snapped, trying to regain control. You can't investigate your own family. Actually, I said, pulling a folder from my briefcase, that's why I'm here tonight, to inform you I've officially recused myself. Director Vernon will lead the investigation starting tomorrow morning. Mark's brother, Jack, Kate's husband, stood up, agitated. What exactly are you accusing us of? $50 million for the shopping center, right, Kate? I kept my voice steady. Why don't you also explain the other $30 million that vanished through fake contracts last month? Kate went pale. I have no idea what you're talking about. Or maybe you'd rather explain why your company declared losses last year, even though you bought 3 properties overseas? Enough, Jack roared. I won't let you slander my wife. Your wife has been laundering money for years, Director Vernon said flatly. And tomorrow will prove it. Kate suddenly burst into hysterical laughter that sent a chill through the room. Proof? What proof? Everything is perfectly legal. You mean the documents in your personal office? I asked with a faint smile. Or the ones in the safe behind your Van Gogh painting? Kate's fork clattered on her plate. How? Remember 3 months ago when you asked me to review those boring tax returns? I spent 4 hours in your office while you bragged about your new yacht. You, she gasped. You're just a low-level accountant who can't handle big numbers. My father-in-law, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke. Kate, is this true? Of course not. She's jealous. This is revenge. Director Vernon pulled out his phone and played an audio recording. Kate's voice came through loud and clear. Relax, Finn. Auditors are as clueless as ever. No one suspects a thing. We have hundreds of hours like this, he added. And tomorrow, we'll have the physical evidence, too. Kate bolted for the door, but 2 federal agents blocked her path. Where are you going, sis? I asked. Didn't you want to brag more about your company? What followed was chaos. Kate tried the back exit while Jack yelled about calling his lawyers. My mother-in-law sobbed and my father-in-law just sat stunned. The house is surrounded, Director Vernon announced. I suggest everyone stay seated while we process the arrest warrant. Arrest? Kate screamed. You can't arrest me. Do you see this badge? I stood up. Kate, you're under arrest for tax evasion, money laundering, and corporate fraud. As the agents cuffed her, she glared at me with pure hatred. You ruined my life. No, Kate. You ruined your own life when you decided the law didn't apply to you. Mark came over and took my hand. Why didn't you tell me? It was classified, I said softly. And honestly, it was safer if no one knew. My brother, Jack began. Will be investigated, too, I said gently. I'm sorry. The family dinner ended in disaster. But as I watched Kate being led out of the mansion, I couldn't help but think of all the times she humiliated me by calling me just an accountant. What she never understood is that sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who seem harmless. Tomorrow's going to be a long day, Director Vernon said. The auditors arrive at 8 a.m. Already seated in the police car, Kate shouted one last time, You'll regret this. I smiled faintly. Not quite. The only one with regrets here will be you. Hashtag the aftermath. The weeks that followed shook not only my family, but the whole city. The morning after that chaotic dinner, the newspapers screamed, Reynolds International Construction under federal investigation. CEO arrested for massive fraud. I sat at my desk going over reports while the TV quietly showed Kate being led into court. Her expensive designer suit was gone, replaced by something much more humble. They found more than we expected, Daniel said, setting a stack of folders in front of me. This fraud goes across 5 countries, over $200 million. Your sister-in-law had bigger plans than we thought. The case quickly turned into the biggest financial scandal of the year. Every day brought fresh surprises, bribed officials, forged papers, offshore accounts, and a tangled web of shell companies. My phone wouldn't stop ringing with family members apologizing, and of course, threats from Kate's people. One late evening, Mark came into my office. Jack confessed, he said, sinking into a chair. He admitted it was Kate's idea from the start. How are you holding up? I asked. It's weird. Jack was always the golden boy, the successful one. Now he's trying to cut a deal with the DA. The investigation also uncovered something nobody expected. Kate had been stealing from her own in-laws. The family mansion, supposedly bought with company money, had actually been purchased with laundered cash and was about to be seized. Your parents? I asked. They're crushed, Mark said with a sigh. Mom's been crying nonstop. Dad feels totally betrayed. They trusted Kate completely. I'm sorry. Don't be. You were just doing your job. Hashtag the deal. About a month after the arrest, I sat across from Kate in an interrogation room. Her perfect hair was gone, and so was her usual arrogance. Here to gloat, she sneered. No, I'm here to make you a deal. A deal? After what you did to me. Kate, you're looking at 30 years. But if you cooperate, help us recover the money, give us names, we might get that down to 10. She let out a dry laugh. Why would you do that? I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for the family you destroyed. After 3 hours, she broke. Her confession led to 12 more arrests and nearly $150 million recovered. Hashtag justice served. 6 months later, sentencing day came. Kate got 12 years. Jack got 8. The rest of her crew received between 5 and 15 years. That day, my mother-in-law hugged me, tears in her eyes. I'm so sorry, Jade. We always treated you like you didn't matter. Kate blinded us with her fake success. It's okay, I said softly. Appearances can be deceiving. You know what's funny? Mark said over dinner that night. If Kate hadn't been so arrogant, if she hadn't belittled you, you might never have found out about the fraud. Pride comes before the fall, I murmured. Hashtag 1 year later. A year later, everything was different. The mansion was sold, but I helped my in-laws find a cozy home. Jack stayed in prison, cooperating with other investigations. And Kate? She spends her days in a cell, probably regretting all the times she mocked this simple accountant. My work is still mostly under wraps, but now my family knows the truth. Director Vernon promoted me to division chief, and we're still cracking down on corporate fraud. Sometimes when I dig into a new case, I think back to that family dinner. The moment I flashed my badge and saw the shock on Kate's face. That night taught me an important lesson. Never underestimate anyone, especially those who seem simple. What are you thinking about? Mark asked one evening while I was reviewing files at home. How one family dinner changed so many lives. Do you regret it? I thought about the people who got their money back, the justice served, and the truth finally uncovered. No, I said with a smile. Sometimes the truth hurts, but it's necessary. On my desk is a framed photo from that dinner. Kate's arrogant smile frozen just before her empire collapsed. It's a daily reminder that justice, even if slow, always comes. And sometimes it arrives in the form of a simple accountant. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the story, like the video and subscribe to our channel. This is Revenge Scales, where justice always finds its way. See you next time. Asterisk.